with my projects, it'll always be that one record I feel like that I want everyone to hear, you know what I'm saying? In order to push the narrative or just the message and the tone that I want to get across.
Last Sunday, Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime performance finally aired, and immediately after came the reviews. As the online debate continues about what songs he could have rapped, what does Lamar's performance say about rap beefs and black art under the American empire?
Please, Philadelphia, I implore you as your mayor, do not climb light poles or anything else.
I'm Sayou Cooper, and this is the Griots, reporting on hip-hop culture through a mix of soapbox editorials, weird commercial breaks, and some very serious guests.
Part of his genius is like him being so elusive, so mysterious, and I love it. I don't know what's going on as much as you don't know what's going on.
Really?
Yeah, when Luther came out, I said, okay, that's the vocals we're using, period.
Checking the vibes before Sunday night's main event, the anticipation was pretty high. On Tuesday, February 11th, the official viewership numbers were released. Super Bowl 59 was the most watched bowl ever with 127.7 million viewers, and Kendrick Lamar's halftime show was the most watched in history with 133.5 million viewers. The night was an historic night for hip-hop culture and rap music, a culture once ignored and disparaged by white American media, now entertaining nearly half of its population for roughly 15 minutes. The actual football game was the Philadelphia Eagles versus Kansas City Chiefs. Through the NFL's steady propaganda, Super Bowl Sundays have become this quintessential American popular culture thing. Even if you're not into sports or still boycotting the games, you're sucked in by a watch party someone invited you to, your X feed, or seeing the greatest rapper alive perform. US President Donald Trump was in attendance, and on Sunday before the show, I wrote down some predictions on what the griot might play. Kendrick mentioned the word storytelling when asked to describe his show, so I think the set would be a concise history of his career, especially his African American identity. Loads of symbolism everywhere, another black hippie adjacent reunion. My setlist prediction in no particular order was DNA, All the Stars of SZA, Alright, Swimming Pools, Father Time, Backseat Freestyle, Not Like Us, Squabble Up, and Humble. My wild card was I and One of the Hard Parts.
Yeah, the studio, if it's been a while, you know, you might come off with a little bit of writer's block. So we always got this thing about like keeping the pen low. Or this exercise, going there, doing 16 bars, going home, you know, always just keep moving.
Exploring the design aspects of the halftime performance, Kendrick Lamar's main stage was a collection of 4 smaller stages, modeled after a PlayStation controller. The American tech and culture magazine Wired secured the exclusive piece detailing the design team and PG Lang's creative direction. The magazine's senior editor, Angela Watercutter, wrote Kendrick Lamar's reasoning was a performance intended to portray Lamar's life as a video game. The words "Game Over" lights up at the end of Lamar's set, and yes, the GNX on the smaller square stage is real. As usual, Dave Free is here along with creative director Mike Carson. Very interesting things happening at PG Lang. The steady growth approach has been beneficial to their work output, but I find myself less interested in their gigs without Kendrick Lamar.
Hello? Hey, who? What's up? Nothing, B. In quarantine. Having a bud. What's up with you?
Nothing. Quarantining, having a bud.
True.
What's up? What's up? Yo, who's that?
Yo, pick up the phone. Hello?
What's that? What's up?
But back to the game. Kendrick's game. There's another stage in the middle. A long rectangular one acts as a concrete street runway for Lamar and his dancers. The PlayStation controller stage serves as a rap triple entendre. Kendrick playing his game, i.e. performing his story, at a game, in the final round of the most important game he's ever played. In the Wire article, Mike Carson said, Dave, Free, and Kendrick are really into keeping things clean and minimal, which are words not fitting for a Super Bowl halftime performance, known for its over-the-top theatrics. Loads of PG Lang propaganda was spotted around the stage and Lamar's styling. For the top, he wore a Namia's custom Keep Them Away From Me t-shirt with a custom Martine Rose varsity jacket. You can't see his full cap, but one can imagine it's another PG Lang custom. The jeans everyone is talking about are from Celine. Lastly, on his feet, Lamar is wearing Nike Air DT Max 96. Rap Twitter noticed the sneakers were an ode to the athlete Deion Sanders. Lamar's backup dancers wore red, white, and blue outfits. The Uniqlo US Instagram page posted some of the dancers wearing their Arizona cotton oversized t-shirt and long sleeve.
A lot of people may well see this particular gentleman as someone who makes an appearance either in a supporting or non-supporting role in many of the poems that I do.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Cool.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Alrighty. The new poetry that evolved in our society concerned the fact that folks wanted to use both words that people could understand as well as talk about ideas that people could understand. So the rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon, and her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. I can't pay no doctor bills, but Whitey's on the moon. 10 years from now, I'll be paying still while Whitey's on the moon. You know the man just upped my rent last night? Because Whitey's on the moon. No hot water, no toilets, and no lights, but Whitey's on the moon. I wonder why he's upping me. Because Whitey's on the moon? I was already giving him $50 a week, and now Whitey's on the moon. Taxes taking my whole damn check. The junkies make me a nervous wreck. The price of food is going up. And as if all that crap wasn't enough, a rat done bit my sister Nell with Whitey on the moon. Her face and arms began to swell, and Whitey's on the moon. Was all that money I made last year for Whitey on the moon? How come I ain't got no money here? Whitey's on the moon. You know, I just about had my fill of Whitey on the moon. I think I'll send these doctor bills, air mail special, to Whitey on the moon.
Continuing on my preparations for Super Bowl Sunday, I caught up on Lamar's final press obligations, namely the Apple Music interview with Ebro and Nadeska, and the Timothée Chalamet GNX car ride. Surprisingly, the Timothée Chalamet chat was my favorite out of the two. There's definitely limitations to artist-on-artist interviews, but this one hit all the right spots on a personal level. I'm in that self-help stage of my artist journey, so discovering or rediscovering my inner child, blah blah blah. So the conversation between Chalamet and Lamar was entertaining while also providing some insight on their artistic practice. Kendrick Lamar is a disciplined artist. He begins the day running a couple miles and hitting the studio after, making sure to keep his pen moving always. We get some foreshadowing that Man at the Garden is on the halftime set list. The sample Nas track was the easiest for him to write on the album and was intentionally placed at the top of the track list. The present or being present was a theme on the Apple Music interview. Again, another foreshadow for his halftime performance, which focused on newer and present work. Ebro and Nadeska are a great working pair and ask solid questions. On the Drake beef and the Not Like Us track, it was the same old story from Lamar. Not to downplay Lamar's intentions, but his public statements on the beef are so cookie cutter perfect and altruistic, which I don't think is the fullest version.
Yeah, in response to your protest, the NFL says you'll now be banned for life from all NFL stadiums, from all events. What's your response to the ban, and would you still have done it if you'd known the risks?
I love when artists grit their teeth. Like, I still watch battle raps.
The risk of a ban, I was afraid I was going to get sniped by a Secret Service's bullet.
I still watch Smack URL from Murder Mook to Lux to Tay-Rock. You know, my bro Daylight.
While professional reviews from media and news outlets have leaned on the positive side, social media had a mixed reception to Kendrick Lamar's halftime show. The most prominent critique, the GNX setlist. Rather than opening up with something really familiar, Lamar's set began with the instrumentals for Whacked Out Murals, and then the GNX trailer track. Right before that, we're introduced to Lamar's MC, Uncle Sam, played by the actor Samuel L. Jackson, who welcomes us to the Great American Game. Uncle Sam is age American propaganda, a personification of the state. Then we get Squabble Up, but Lamar pauses to speak to us. The revolution about to be televised. You picked the right time, but the wrong guy.
Now I see they want you two to start, they want a divorce. They want you two to start hating each other. And they try, President Elon Musk, for example.
This is a direct reference to Gil Scott-Heron's song and poem, the revolution would not be televised. Heron died in 2011, and his art, a mix of poetry on top of jazz, blues, and soul tracks, heavily influenced hip-hop. The best sampling of his work in post-2000s rap is Ye, formerly Kanye West's Who Will Survive in America. Uncle Sam returns to inform Lamar's crew that they're being too loud and ghetto and should tighten up. Soon after, we got the classics Humble and DNA from the Damn album, then back to the GNX era with Euphoria. Things slow down with Man at the Garden, and Uncle Sam reappears to tell us this section was the culture cheat code. Significantly, the scorekeeper should deduct one life. Lamar goes into Peekaboo and loves AZ Chike's verse as much as us that he raps it.
Kendrick Lamar performed the biggest Super Bowl halftime show. All right, here's where I come in. Not only did he perform the song we did together, Peekaboo, rapped my verse. Hey.
Before catching up with SZA for Luther and All the Stars, Lamar contemplates performing the song everyone's thinking about amid the Drake-UMG lawsuit. Uncle Sam is heard cautioning in the background. With his set time nearly over and All the Stars a great closing song, you almost think he's not gonna do it. But sometimes you gotta pop out and show, and Lamar does exactly that, performing verse 1 of the Not Like Us song and reciting the allegedly defamatory accusations right to the camera. Serena Williams is also there, crip walking. The show finally ends with the muster-assisted turn the TV off.
I see you brought your homeboys with you. The old culture cheat code. Scorekeeper, deduct a life.
Scrolling on social media in the days after Lamar's halftime, I was inundated with theories about his deep and so-called radical performance. Some analyses were great, like writer and film critic Robert Daniels, who pointed out the Chirac reference in Uncle Sam, and Lamar stating, 40 acres and a mule, this is bigger than the music. They try to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. Chirac is a 2015 film from Spike Lee, and 40 Acres and a Mule is the name of Lee's production company. Kendrick Lamar has strong ties to Chicago through his parents who grew up on the South Side. Spike Lee captioned his Instagram post celebrating the performance. The term 40 Acres and a Mule was a proposal for reparations to former enslaved African Americans in the aftermath of the Civil War. The proposal was intended to provide land and resources to help free people achieve economic independence. It never happened. Through the Great Migration, African Americans fled the racial terror of the South to western and northern cities in hopes of reprieve. With Uncle Sam, Samuel L. Jackson's presence represents the respectability politics to which Black people in America tend to adhere to succeed in this state, constantly contorting ourselves to fit into Americana. Due to a Black man playing this role, Uncle Sam is also interchangeable with Uncle Tom. The Uncle Tom stereotype denotes a Black person subservient to white people. Aaron McCruder's The Boondocks does a great play on this stereotype with the characters Tom and Uncle Ruckus.
I can't sit here and let y'all badmouth my president. Did any of hear the president when he said Iraq was central to the global war on terror? Or did y'all miss it because he wasn't speaking in baboon?
Regarding Americana, there was a lot of red, white, blue, and black in Lamar's performance. At one point, his dancers of Black men form an American flag, with Lamar right in the middle. Black artists repurposing the American flag or other symbols of Americana has become a heated debate. America was built on racial capitalism and the bodies of the formerly enslaved, so one can understand African Americans' claims to the state. But in doing so, taking up this rebranded patriotism, Black people might be aligning themselves with the atrocities of the empire. Instead of red, white, and blue, Lamar displaying the Pan-African colors of red, black, and green would have been much more radical to me, like the Sudan and Palestine protester removed from the stage. The insistence on seeing Kendrick Lamar's halftime as deeply radical and him as a revolutionary is why the performance will never be perfect, because how radical can you really be while performing for the NFL? But no rapper could have done what he did last Sunday, and that's why he's the greatest of all time. The GNX setlist, which I initially didn't enjoy, I've come to appreciate. The legacy performance we were all craving, he already did last summer with the pop-out. You can't recreate moments like that, and the halftime setlist reminded the audience that our opinions or wants do not outweigh the artist's vision. The Griot awards 8 out of 10 points to Kendrick Lamar. The audio mixing for the live show should have been better, but we've all been there with sound issues. As for Drake,
wouldn't let that happen to me though.
Reporting from the east coast of the American Empire, I'm Sayou Cooper, and this is The Griot. I wrote and produced this episode. Our theme song for this season is Jaws by Suzuki-san. Our Instagram and other cool stuff can be found on our website. Links are always in the description. Thank you to the ancestors. Until next time.